Mysterious Galaxy Bookstore with author Adrienne Young to talk about her new book, Sky in the Deep, which is a fantastic Viking-inspired fantasy. So, I would love if you could talk a little bit about what your book is about.
Okay, so Sky in the Deep is a Viking-inspired YA novel, and it's about a young girl who was raised to be a warrior, and she's in battle one day and sees her brother on the other side fighting with the enemy, but it's the brother that she watched die 5 years ago. So, Sky in the Deep is about her journey, kind of finding out what really happened the day she thought he died, and what has happened since then, and how he ended up on the other side.
What research did you do in preparation for this book?
I did a lot of research, and I'm kind of a research junkie. I love research, so I really geeked out on this, and I kind of already had a little bit of like a reservoir of information about Viking culture, but once I started writing the book and it really started taking that Viking shape, I kind of just went all the way with it and really tried to research as much as I could. The things that wound up really being mirrored in the book accurately are more like culture things, or like food and clothing and weapons and stuff like that, landscape. The mythology and everything is all made up in the book, but I definitely used my research into Norse mythology as like a platform.
Was there anything while you're researching that was like super weird or interesting that you like came across?
There's some like really dark things in Viking history. Not just like stories, but even just practices. I mean, a lot of like folk witchcraft has roots in that like Nordic culture. And so there's, there may have been a human sacrifice here and there, like that kind of stuff. But something I ran across that I thought was super cool is that the Vikings had a whole set of laws specifically protecting women, and that's something that was like very progressive for the time, especially in this part of the world in this time period compared to other European societies. But they had a whole set of laws that were just dedicated to protecting women from like unwanted attention, physical advances, obviously violence, and violence against women was like one of the most abhorrent sins. Wow. So it had very, horrible consequences, and that's something that modern day cultures didn't have until like the 60s and 70s. So I thought that like totally blew my mind.
And one of my favorite parts was the mythology in the book. How did you go about kind of creating it, since you said that you did make it up?
I tried to mimic what's really unique about Nordic mythology and super interesting is the relationship between the humans and the gods. The gods are very human-like, and they're not just like these like noble faraway beings. They're like, tricksters, and they get jealous, and they, betray each other, and they do all this stuff. And so I tried to kind of pull from all of that inspiration of like just how the people related to their gods, how they viewed their gods, and how they were really more a part of everyday life rather than, like they worshipped them for their crops and, just an everyday type of thing rather than just this super formal, distant religion.
What was one of the biggest obstacles you came across while writing this story?
I think there's always a part in the process where the story just starts to feel too big, and it starts to feel like it's getting away from you, and it's kind of unraveling. And with Sky in the Deep, I don't really outline before I start writing, so I fly by the seat of my pants a little bit. And I definitely reached a point at like the halfway mark, probably ish around there, where I didn't know where the story was going to go. Like I didn't know like where we were going to be in the end. And so I had a dark night of the soul and totally freaked out and like major self-doubt, and had to just kind of wait it out and push through a little bit. And then when it came to me, it all clicked into place. But I definitely reached a point where I didn't know if I was going to be able to really pull it off.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Yeah, me too.
What inspired you to create this story?
I originally got the idea about the brother and sister. So the brother and the sister who, you know, have been torn apart and trying to figure out what really happened. That was my initial inspiration for the book. I didn't really set out to write a Viking-inspired book. It kind of just went that way when I started writing it. But I am very intrigued by sibling relationships, family relationships in general. And so I think I just really latched onto that idea of the brother and the sister and ran with it and wanted to explore that.
Do you have a favorite character or one that you're particularly proud of?
In this book, right? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I love them all. I really love Elin, the main character. I feel very proud of her because I feel like she's doing something in the book that is just so incredibly brave that I just wish we could all do, which is, just re-examining her belief system and really thinking for herself and stepping outside of what she's always known and choosing for herself what she's going to believe, despite what she's always been told, she's always been taught, what her people, her family believes. And I'm incredibly inspired by that. But there's another character in the book, a little boy named Halvard, and I never planned to write him. He just appeared. The scene that he appears in is the scene he appeared to me in. I was writing it, and he just appeared, and I was like, who are you? And he became one of my very, very favorite characters, like very endearing, and just kind of is the key to Elin's, the transformation Elin goes through. So
yeah, he's very special. I really loved him. If you were a warrior yourself, which clan would you be a part of, and what would be your weapon of choice?
I think I would be in the Aska clan, just so I could be on the fjord. I just think the fjord is so beautiful. And I would definitely use an axe.
I would say I would do.
I love that image of just like running into battle, like screaming and like swinging your axe.
I was like, I'm just imagining her. I'm like, she looks amazing with that axe.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to be able to do that.
So intense.
What books did you enjoy when you were younger?
I really read kind of all across the board when I was a kid. I kind of just read anything that was in my school library. I didn't really gravitate toward a specific genre. It was books that I read when I was a teenager that really were the ones that kind of like sunk their hooks into me and, made a huge impact on me, including Harry Potter, of course.
Yes.
I mean, I hate answering with that because that's everyone's answer, but it really did have such a profound impact on me as a writer and a reader. And then books that deal with like a really deep level of humanity and like inspecting like what it is to be human. And one of the big books that I loved was A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, is in that vein. And then also The Glass Castle was like one that I just totally changed my world. But yeah, and this is a little after I was a teenager, but Daughter of Smoke and Bone series is
so
really
good.
That is a series that I think really started driving me toward writing YA. So I love it.
So since we mentioned Harry Potter, what is your house? And if you could put some of your characters into houses, what would it be?
So I need to take the test again.
Oh.
I feel like I've changed, and I'm not sure. I've always said that I am definitely Gryffindor and Slytherin for sure. Which I just am.
Slytherdor?
Yes, I cannot deny my Slytherin. I think before I wouldn't have been able to really embrace that, but I totally can now. And then my characters, this is a source of major debate between me and my critique partner and / best friend. But Fisk for sure is Gryffindor. Elin, I think she too is also Gryffindor and Slytherin, but I've been told very vehemently that she is 100% Slytherin. So I don't know what I think about that. I can kind of see that, but I think she has a little bit too much like nobility kind of.
Yeah, I would say she probably walks the line.
Yeah,
I don't know. I would throw on the fence.
I think she's a mixture.
I would think so too.
And then Halvard is for sure a Hufflepuff,
Yes.
like 100% like undeniable. So.
I like that.
Yeah.
That was fun. And then my last question is, what are you working on next? What can we expect from you?
I am working on the companion novel for Sky in the Deep, and we haven't released the details about it yet. I'm like dying to talk about it because I think people who love Sky in the Deep will be so excited when they find out what it's about. But I am revising it right now, and it comes out in 2019. So I'm hoping we can announce the title and all the details very soon.
Yay! Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You guys definitely need to read Sky in the Deep. It is fantastic. I will leave all the links and everything down below. You guys can go find it. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you guys